And I'm Leo.
And we're with the Not Just for Girls podcast. And today we're doing some science experiments that you can try at home with things that you probably already have in your house. And we've been talking about density.
Density.
So what is the definition of density, Leo?
Density is how dense something is.
Okay, that's a very dense answer. I'm back here. So density is the amount of matter within a particular volume or a particular amount of space. So we measure this by seeing what the mass is, and we divide that by how much volume it's taking up. And so it's easy to imagine what the volume and the density are of solid objects because, well, they're solid.
Exactly. Like if you put a cork to water, it floats, or like a rubber ducky, or humans. Humans, most of the time, they float in water.
Yep, most of the time humans are pretty floaty.
Yeah.
And if you put other things in water, they'll sink, like rocks and pennies and big pieces of metal, because those have a higher density than water. But what if we start comparing things that are liquids to water? Can we make things float on top of water if it's made out of a liquid?
I think so.
I think so too, so we're gonna give it a try. So we have a handful of supplies here.
We have some dyed red water, we have some dish soap, and we have some cooking oil.
We're going to be able to layer these liquids in one of these containers. So I have a couple of different containers. You might have other things that are a slightly different shape, but as long as you can see through them, you're pretty good. This is a jelly jar that's got crystal shapes on the outside of it, and this is just a regular drinking glass. If you have a glass that's wider at the top than is at the bottom, that will also work just fine. This one just happens to be pretty cylindrical.
Yep.
So we're going to start by putting our red dyed water into our glass. Okay, very exciting. Now we have a layer of red.
Super exciting.
Very exciting. So we're going to try our dish soap. We tip the glass to the side and then pour it in. We should be able to get them to not mix too much when they reach each other at the interface. So if you give that just a second to level out, we can see that the dish soap is actually more dense than the water. So it has gone down to the bottom.
Exactly.
So now what's going to happen with our oil? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to tip the glass gently, and then we're just going to slowly pour the oil in.
And you can see that the oil is resting on top of the water, which is resting on top of the dish soap.
So here are our layers. So we have the blue dish soap at the bottom, we have the red water in the middle, and then the yellow cooking oil on top. So you can try this at home with your own oil and water and dish soap, and you can also try some other liquids that you might have in your house. Let's say you have some milk, you could dye that a color and see where that's going to float.
Or you could just not dye it at all because it's a fairly stark white.
You could also try something like rubbing alcohol.
Or orange juice.
Or other things that are going to have a different density than the water and see how they compare. So have fun and do some science.
Yep.